I think a lot of us are watching too much TV, which denies us to understand the complexity of some of these things. The complexity of hacking is such that you need a lot of skill sets, and I'm not discounting the fact that we don't have skill sets, but I'm simply saying the complexity is very much. Number two, any institution that has the salt worthy of the substance of IEBC, for instance, would implement or invest heavily on infrastructure that would protect them against such. So they would have intrusion detection systems, they'd have firewalls, they'd have perimeter encryptions, they would have passwords and such levels of information that would be protected. Then the basic and most important thing, they would employ a closed loop conversation where they have virtual private networks within certain equipments to ensure that nobody has access to them. So the complexity around it is very difficult. Number two, for you to be able to enter into such an environment, you would also need to have your own understanding of everything they have from A to Z, so that you would need to prepare. So if you know they have a certain firewall series, I'd prepare with that firewall series. I'd need to know the network protocol they're using. I'd need to know the security apparatus they have. I'd need to know the certificate providers to be able to access the same. So it would take a bit of some effort. I'm not saying it's not possible, it's plausible, but the complexity is a bit too much. In a normal scenario, you would have expected IEBC would have done pen testing before, known where the loopholes are, fixed them. By the time they're going live, everything has been fixed. And you'd have a certainty of up to maybe between 80 to 90, 95% or 99% in terms of certainty that all the systems are live and going. You can't have accurate 100% because there are loopholes that will close and cause the systems not to work for one or two reasons. So you may find there's a 0.1 or 0.2% that you can't just close the entire door. So that possibility also still stands. The data they gave us was from an x86 machine, which is a very archaic, for lack of a better word, system that would be very early in the day. So outrightly dismissing it would be the first thing that you'd need to do as an expert. The second thing is that the log is an ELA log. You'd find that basic equipment like a camera, a radio, a TV, or anything would have a log collector that would collect any errors that are happening, so that for debugging and for self-repair. And what the person gave them, whoever gave it to them, gave them the wrong data. Because in a scenario where you have a database, all the activities that are happening on a database are logged on a file called an LDF. So they are not logged on the error log. So if there is any activity, both legitimate and illegitimate, anything that is happening on the database, it is never presented on the file that they gave us. It is presented on a completely different file. So it is not possible whatsoever in all heavens and earth that that file would have would have any capacity to prove that any data was hacked into. And both technically it may not stand in court, and so the possibility of them having it to work for their advantage is really a difficult assignment for that matter. Number three is that the teamwork required is a bit massive. And the only surprising things is that with most of us very addicted to sport betting, I'm not sure why we are not hacking into the sport betting institutions, which would give us actual cash other than ballots for somebody else. So I speak as an expert that the complexity around the whole thing is a bit more than it can be casually displayed, and it becomes true.